Further than that, here is the news at 6. First, the highlights. Southwest governors visit Lagos. More establishment of joint surveillance team to strengthen regional security. National Assembly passes 2025 appropriation bill of 54.99 trillion naira into law. On a foreign team, Kuwait authorities apprehend members of international cybercrime gang. And in sports, Flying Eagles to face Egypt, South Africa, Morocco in Group B of CAF Under-20 champion on the 20 Nations Cup. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. The 6 governors of the Southwest, under the umbrella of Southwest Governors Forum, converged on Lagos House Ikeja to discuss issues of common interest, including agriculture and food security, to advance economic growth, foster collaboration, and enhance development initiatives in the zone. The agenda also included issues bordering on security of lives and property, key regional issues, and the Southwest Development Commission. In a communique read after a closed-door meeting by the Lagos State Governor and Chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the forum hinted about plans to establish a joint surveillance monitoring team comprising security advisors of each of the state and deploying of advanced technology to enhance security in the region. The governors also commended the federal government and the National Assembly for establishing the Southwest Development Commission with an agreement to situate the headquarters at Cocoa House in Ibadan, Oyo State.
The forum strongly condemns any threats to the region's security, therefore encourages the enhanced collaboration between the Nigerian police force and our various local security outfits, while urging them to remain vigilant.
The Southwest governors commended President Bola Tinubu's administration for ensuring economic stability, well-being of Nigerians, and improvement in the supply of petroleum products across the country, especially during last Yuletide, as well as the successful implementation of the Students' Loan Scheme with beneficiaries from the Southwest.
We believe also at forum discussion will express concern with activities of unscrupulous middlemen who deliberately inflate food prices and commodities within the region. We therefore took a view and agreed to establish what we call a food inflation joint monitoring team, which we believe will foster interstate collaboration and it will mitigate food inflation.
Our correspondent Adeola Akindele reports that since a similar meeting was held in Lagos on June 10, 2024, the forum, under the leadership of Governor Sanwo-Olu, had prioritized policies aimed at strengthening regional development in the Southwest Zone. The event was attended by Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, Seyi Makinde, Oyo State, Ademola Adeleke, Osun State, Biodun Oyebanji, Ekiti State, and their Ondo State counterpart, Lucky Ayedatiwa. Lagos State government has reaffirmed its commitment to completing ongoing infrastructure projects while expanding key transport networks and improving electricity access for residents. Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Okwe George, emphasized that year 2025 will be dedicated to completing ongoing projects and expansion of infrastructure. George said among the notable development is the Cowrie card, which gives over 5 million Lagosians access to transportation systems like buses, ferries, and the railway network.
Last year, we performed over 85%, so for this year, we're hoping we can do better. We're hoping we can provide at least close to 90% budget performance for this year. Last year, we're very, very happy with our budget performance in terms of our revenue generation. We did over 100% of our expectations in terms of our revenue for 2024. The budget has increased to 3.367 trillion for 2025. So we're hoping that at least with the IGR and also other areas, we can finance and fund our 2025 budgets effectively.
The Commissioner also emphasized significant progress with the ongoing expansions of the Blue and Red Line rail system, which is currently serving over 25,000 passengers daily, with more than 4 million commuters benefiting from it. Highlighting Lagos State's efforts at addressing electricity issues, George said the signing of the State Electricity Bill is part of proactive steps taken in enhancing power supply through the collaboration between the Ministry of Energy and regulatory bodies to allow for uninterrupted, stable supply of electricity to residents. Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, has urged radio broadcasters to keep the spirit of enlightening and educating the public as the world marked the International Radio Day. Miranda highlighted the immeasurable and courageous contributions of radio to advancing diversity, safeguarding freedom of expression, and ensuring equitable access to information for all. The speaker, who noted the theme for World Radio Day 2025, radio and climate change, explained that this year's theme will assist radio stations in their coverage of a critical problem. She urged that robust engagement in talk shows and news items be given to climate change. The Lagos State House of Assembly has called on Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to direct contractors back to site of the abandoned Bola Ahmed Tinubu Road in Igbogobayeko Local Council Development Area of Ikorodu. The lawmakers made the call while debating on a matter of urgent public importance raised by lawmaker representing Ikorodu Constituency 2, Moshood Aro. Aro, in his motion, said houses were demolished in the area as far back as December 2017 for commencement of construction of the road, but lamented that up till now, nothing has been done as the contractors have vacated the site. He said motorists and residents of the area experience various challenges ranging from armed robberies, kidnappings, and economic downturn.
This small piece of the construction has led to several hardships for the people in the area, turning what should have been a progress development into a source of frustration and suffering. The incomplete road has become haven for criminals, including kidnappings, armed robberies, who take advantage of its poor state to carry out numerous activities. Businesses in this area are struggling due to the poor road network, affecting economic activities and making transportation of goods and services difficult.
Other lawmakers in their contributions suggested that there be a law mandating governments to complete projects initiated by their predecessors before embarking on new ones in a bid to prevent cases of uncompleted projects. The lawmakers also resolved to invite the special advisor to the governor on works and infrastructure and the contractors to provide a detailed report on the status of abandoned road projects in Lagos State. In her submission, Speaker of the House, Mojisola Miranda, directed lawmakers to compile lists of abandoned roads in their constituencies for submission to the appropriate ministry for immediate action. Miranda also said contractors should be given 60 or 70% mobilization fee upfront to avoid delay in completion of projects. Our correspondent Abiola Fagbolagun reports that the Speaker thereafter committed a motion to the House Ad Hoc Committee on Works and Infrastructure to report back in 2 weeks. Now to the rest of the stories. The National Assembly has passed the 54.99 trillion naira 2025 appropriation bill into law. The bill was passed separately by the Senate and the House of Representatives. A breakdown of the budget showed 3.645 trillion naira for statutory transfers, 14.317 trillion naira for debt servicing, 13.64 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure, and 23.963 3 trillion naira capital expenditure, with fiscal deficit put at 13.08 trillion naira. The deficit to gross domestic product (GDP) ratio was put at 1.52%. Last week, President Bola Tinubu increased the 2025 fiscal year budget from an initial 49.7 trillion naira to 54.2 trillion naira, seeking approval from the Senate and the House of Representatives. The federal government has directed ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, operating in states to stop running accounts with commercial banks in line with the Treasury single account policy. Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madeng, gave the directive during a working visit to the Federal Pay Office in Benin, Edo State. Madeng stressed that all federal MDAs nationwide must comply with public financial management reforms and refrain from bypassing the TSA framework. She charged federal pay officers with ensuring strict adherence to the policy, warning that no MDA should operate accounts with commercial banks unless expressly approved by the President and communicated by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Madeng added that the federal government is constructing new federal pay offices in some states to address infrastructure and operational challenges. And now to foreign news. Authorities in Kuwait have apprehended members of an international cybercrime gang of Chinese nationality. The Ministry of the Interior announced this after a large-scale attack on telecommunication towers and financial institutions across the country. The Cybercrime Combating Department was alerted after several telecommunication companies and banks reported cyber attacks on their networks to steal customers' information and funds. Officers apprehended a driver, a Chinese national, and seized multiple electronic devices in his possession. The police later found more high-tech tools at his residence. And now sports. Nigeria's Flying Eagles have been drawn in Group B with Egypt, South Africa and Morocco for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The draw ceremony took place at the headquarters of the Confederation of African Football, CAF. The Flying Eagles were the top seed in the group. Flying Eagles coach Aliou Zubairu's side will face one of the group opponents, Egypt, in a friendly later this month. The top two teams in each group will qualify for the quarterfinals, along with the two best third-placed sides. Côte d'Ivoire will host the competition from Saturday, April 26 to Sunday, May 18. The top four nations will qualify for the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup that will be staged in Chile later in the year. And that's all for the news at 6. Remember, your vehicle is not a strong room. Keep your valuables off the view of miscreants. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that under the Sanwo-Olu administration, over 1,932 companies indicated interest to take on graduate interns after their training program designed to expose them in hands-on work experience? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government's website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. 6 governors of the Southwest, under the umbrella of the Southwest Governors Forum, converged on Lagos House Ikeja to discuss issues of common interest, including agriculture and food security, to advance economic growth, foster collaboration, and enhance development initiatives in the zone. The National Assembly has passed the 54.99 trillion naira 2025 appropriation bill into law. We also told you authorities in Kuwait have apprehended members of an international cybercrime gang of Chinese nationality. And in sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles have been drawn in Group B with Egypt, South Africa, and Morocco for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. For a contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Sadiq Yusuf. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good evening.